Okay.
Everything's ready?
Is this on?
Test. Let's roll. Bismillah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Debrecen, the podcast. Woo! We're your hosts, Zoya and Haneen again.
Hi.
And today we have a very special guest.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Sara. I'm also a fourth year student and I'm Egyptian.
Ooh, thank you so much for coming, Sara. And we have a very special episode today, our Eid special episode. So we're going to talk about being Muslim in Debrecen.
I'm extremely excited.
Our very first question today is, how did you find the uni and why did you choose it?
Well, allow me before to answer my first question to congratulate you both. How long has it been? It's been almost a month since you started the podcast.
I think it's been exactly a month.
Yeah, so congratulations. Everyone's really proud of you.
Thank you.
And with regards to your question, it's a very cliche answer. So we have a family friend who had a son who was studying here in Debrecen. But the plot twist here is that the year I got accepted into the uni, the guy dropped out and went to another uni in Budapest. So I was like,
Oh, no.
So I was really depending on having someone, in Debrecen to rely on and whatnot. But things didn't go as planned.
Yeah, sheesh. Okay, did that happen right before you came or while you were here? Or?
Well, that was 4 years ago. I don't quite really remember the chronology of the events, but quite a bit before coming here, yeah. So maybe a few months, but I had no other option anyway. I got accepted and everything was planned.
So why medicine? Why Debrecen? Okay, we answered why Debrecen.
Why medicine? Well, unlike the usual thing that you would expect to hear from an Arab family is that your parents, kind of forced you into medicine. Medicine actually came natural to me. So ever since I've been a kid, I've always liked helping people and kind of interested in sciences. So medicine kind of brings both of these things together. And it's a very important job that we need. And one of the reasons why Debrecen, so after I've heard about the uni and stuff, obviously you would go on and do some research about it, and I was so in love with the LSB building. Like, it was so cool. It was one of my motivations to pass that entrance test. I was like, I want to have classes in that glass building. It's so super cool.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well.
Yeah.
Especially like the website back then. So nice.
Yeah. And you see pictures and once I heard that it's the full form is life sciences building, so I thought that it would just be for the the biology students or something. But then when I came here, I was like, yay, we have classes! I was super excited. So yeah,
Cute. So we've asked this question before, but I would love to hear your opinion. What's it like for you being in fourth year?
Well, allow me to reflect back on the time when I was in first year and, in first year meeting lots of people in fourth year and getting to talk to them and be like, wow, like you made it there, right? And now you're in their place. You're in fourth year. I mean, obviously feels amazing. You feel accomplished. You're closer to graduation, closer to, continuing your life, and you're doing your residency. It's really nice. Academically speaking, there's a lot more freedom. I mean, generally you have a lot of freedom because you get to choose, for example, your exam dates when you want to have them and so on. But fourth year particularly, you don't have these exams, so you get to plan how you want to study or how you want to arrange your time. You can take more electives. You can do PE, but guys, I recommend doing PE before fourth year because your timetable will switch.
Yeah. From week 1 to 5.
Week 1 to 5, week 6 to 10, so it's gonna be difficult. So there's a lot more freedom. Yeah, but then again, it's not as chill as people are saying. I think many of your guests previously have mentioned that and highlighted that. So you have so many subjects, but each one is like a mini subject.
Like Superman said, with greater power comes greater responsibility.
That's Spider-Man, Haneen. I'm so disappointed.
Wait, that's Superman. No, with great power comes great responsibility.
No, that's Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. He said that in
yeah,
Spider-Man.
the Spider-Man movie.
You said Superman.
Oh, I said Superman. No, I said Spider-Man. Oh, like, oh. Obviously, Debrecen is a city in Europe, and a lot of the questions I get from people back home about Debrecen is how's it like being a Muslim in Debrecen, and what are the differences that are between, like, being a Muslim at home and being a Muslim in Europe, and what else? They also ask a very important question that was in my mind, but I forgot. Maybe let's just yeah. They ask about halal food. They also ask about
places to pray in university.
Places to pray,
Yeah, a lot of people ask me from home as well. Like, is it easy to get halal food? And yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna answer those questions. So, Sara, Haneen, is it easy to get halal food here?
Well, relatively speaking, it's not as easy as back home, because back home you would just order from whatever supermarket and you would get it delivered right to your house. But over here you have to go to like specific certain places. Particularly important items of food that we refer to here are, like halal meat, halal poultry. So there are several places such as Kohinoor. There is also Durra. There is also Dijla. Dijla is like a butchery.
Yeah, they're like different. They're in different parts of Debrecen.
Yeah, they're in different parts of Debrecen. The closest one to uni is Durra. It has like other things besides meat, so some snacks that you might miss from back home.
Spices and canned foods and things like that. Yeah,
Arabic bread as well.
I've noticed that because there's quite a few of them. All of these like sort of international food stores or halal food stores, like they have like a tendency to be more catered towards a certain city or country, not a city or country, but like a country or like because for example, like Durra feels very Arab. Like a lot of the stuff that you find there.
Yeah, it is Arab.
Yeah, and then for example, Kohinoor is very Pakistani Indian.
It is, yeah.
A lot of the stuff there is Pakistani Indian. And then there's the Dubai supermarket, which is a little bit more.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more international. So like, there's different places to get like what you want.
Yeah.
The best day of my like week is if I go to Kohinoor and I find like some Pakistani biscuits or something that I haven't had in forever, because they do have some stuff like that sometimes. Randomly, they'll have like an old Pakistani juice, and I'll be like, oh my god.
And we like that. We like that.
We love that. Also, the Asian store like near your house has like the
buldak
and
it's Vietnamese and like Thai. It has a lot of Vietnamese stuff and Thai stuff.
And the buldak they get is halal, like the buldak noodles.
Yeah, they get like all kinds of buldak, and I think they get it from like Indonesia.
Yeah.
But getting back to like the main point, obviously it is very, very different being a Muslim back home and being a Muslim here, especially since it's a non-Muslim country.
The most basic thing that we talked about is halal food.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we should talk about maybe is like just generally what's it like, because it's like different. Like it's different not hearing azan. You know what I mean?
That is one of the main points I was planning to mention. That I realized how much we were ungrateful for having an azan back home, because now you have to actually remind yourself when is the prayer timing. Yeah. When do you have to break your fast or stop, eating?
All the phone alarms.
Yeah, exactly. And there can be differences in the timing as well. It basically also in like how you dress, it's different from what people dress, how people dress here. So it's difficult to be different, but it's not impossible. Mm-hmm. And like also with the hijab.
Yeah, a lot of people actually ask me about like how's it like to wear hijab in Debrecen. Are there many people wearing hijab? And yes, there are
quite a few.
Yeah, there are a lot of people wearing hijab here. And like, let's say a lot of people are worried about like the people's perception of it. So I would say like out of 10 people you meet, like 9 people will be really nice to you. They will talk to you nicely. And that one person maybe like would look at you funny or say something. But like, I feel like whether it really affects you or not, it really depends on your connection with the hijab.
Yeah, I mean, people here are used to having international students. So Debrecen is based on having lots of international students, so it's not like an
most
odd
people
thing.
Are used to it.
Yeah. Also in the capital, Budapest.
What about places to pray in university? There's places to pray in university, right? There's like a specific prayer room in LC, in Learning Center.
You register for it on the uni's website. You use your uni pass to enter. What's really nice about this place is that, especially for first and second years, you guys have classes. You'll have classes in LC over there. There are prayer mats. There are Quran placed over there. Praying clothes as well. Other places where you can pray are not as, let's say, fancy as LC. But there's also LSB, the Life Sciences building, the glass building that we were just mentioning earlier.
Yeah, there's a praying area in the basement.
In section number 4, downstairs, you will find the praying place.
Also
and in T building as well. But heads up, can get cold in the winter, so go with the jacket. And basically, even if you're not in these buildings, for example, I had block practice in cardiology last semester, and it's all the way in Augusta, so it's far away from LC, LSB, and even TB. So what you try to do is find a quiet place where you can pray, but then you'll have to bring your mat and your own stuff. So what I would do, for example, is pray in the doctor's changing room, for example.
I also know a friend that used to do that. She used to get like the paper rolled prayer mat, and then she would pray like outside the lecture hall. Outside the lecture hall is like a quiet area.
Yeah, there are so many quiet places in Augusta, especially. There's so many areas where you can pray. Even here in LSB Library, I've seen people praying on the 3rd floor near the elevators. There's like a wide
corner.
Yeah, there's a corner.
Like even like in this place we're sitting in, like it's a private room. You can always pull out your mat and pray.
Exactly. For context, we are currently in a study room in LSB. And yeah, you can definitely pray here. Like if you find one of these rooms free, if you book them for yourself.
One thing we forgot to mention is that in LC you have the option to perform ablution, wudu. So that's a pro.
The LC prayer room is like a mall's prayer room back in the airport.
A mini mall's prayer room.
It's like a mini mall prayer
mini version,
room.
Yeah.
Mini version of probably, I'd say, not Dubai Mall, but like, yeah, the Dubai Mall's one is like really small. I'd say it's like closest to
Dubai it's fancy enough.
Yeah.
And there's places in TB, and for every Friday when I go to Augusta, I see all the boys coming back from Friday prayer next to the, I don't know the exact spot, but it's next to
it's the
restaurant.
Basketball court. It's the basketball court in front of Augusta. Yeah.
It's like right next to that one restaurant.
Alibaba, I think. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah.
Alibaba.
And for guys, there is a masjid, there is a mosque as well on Agatim Sugar Route where they tend to pray as well sometimes. Do Taraweeh at night or Tahajjud during Ramadan, which they did quite a lot this Ramadan.
Friday. Yeah, but I like, of course, that brings me back to I think your point where you were like your point actually, Haneen, where you were like how difficult it is for you to wear the hijab is connected to like, or I think overall the lesson that we wanted to like, the lesson that we maybe intentionally or unintentionally giving is like how difficult it is to be Muslim in Debrecen is mostly connected to your connection with Islam.
Yes, your connection and also the community that you make.
That's very true as well.
Your community is very important.
Yeah, so it's both intrinsic and extrinsic factors, but what you tend to see is because of these differences and culture differences and so on, there are generally two groups of people. So people who would hold on to that and try to do their best, and they might even get better in terms of religion. You become more religious and so on, right? But then there's this other group of people who just slack.
We just don't want to be religious.
Yeah, which is kind of sad. So
that's sad. But everybody has their own journey in university. As you discover yourself, maybe you find your way back to things in time.
And conveniently enough for us, we don't always have to depend on cooking food at home because there are several restaurants that are halal or advertise themselves as halal. For example, one of my favorites is Shish Mahal.
Shish Mahal!
Shout out!
I love that restaurant.
It's the best.
They have the best chicken biryani that I've ever tried.
Even better than back home, I feel.
Yeah.
You're from Pakistan.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's better than back home, but you can say
it's back home because it feels more home. Like, it's not like the restaurants back in Dubai.
Yeah. And the vibes when you go to the place, like the vibes as well. And they have this amazing Peshwari tea as well, which they
And an
complimentary
amazing
give.
playlist.
Yeah.
Like the playlist takes you back home. Actually, like they play all sorts of Arabic music, Desi music.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
do.
There are several restaurants on online, like on Visit Me or on Wolt, such
Meet and
as
eat.
Meet and Eat, famously known for its shawarma.
Yeah.
And what else? There's Aragosa restaurant, which is basically an Iraqi kitchen.
Where is it?
Have you ever heard of the fakhfakhina?
No.
Never.
What is that?
It's basically crispy chicken with fries.
Oh.
And rice.
Yeah.
Another name for it is Abu Ahmed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's very famous
Wait.
here. Everyone loves the fakhfakhina.
But where is the restaurant?
It's on Visit Me.
Oh, it's only on Visit Me.
I think they have a restaurant, but we don't know where is it located because
Never-
most of the
never
students
been.
just order from.
Wait,
the-
Yeah.
also,
It's like a kitchen.
Yeah, also, like, speaking of Visit Me, there's a couple of places on Visit Me that are not like restaurants that are like people who cook from home and stuff that are also really good, and they're also
Yeah.
halal. Yeah,
They're like the Iraqi
and there's also
kitchen as well.
Instagram pages with like
So many.
so many Instagram pages.
But obviously, you would have to make sure that the person understand what halal means. Because fun fact, halal here in in Hungarian, the way they pronounce it, halal means death.
Really?
So if you tell them, "Is it halal?" Maybe they might not understand and think, "Okay, yeah, it's dead." It's like
I remember one time we were on the train, and then I was like asking Sara about something related to halal food, and this woman eyed me so much. And I was like, okay, why?
yeah,
is
we
she
never
eyeing me
knew
so much?
what's the reason.
On Google Translate, it was like halal means like to kill or like killing.
Yeah,
And I
something
was like,
around that
oh.
line. Yeah, so you guys gotta make sure what do they understand? Like, what do they mean by halal?
Also, recently, a restaurant called Blazing Burger, basically they make burgers. They advertised that they got the halal certification for their chicken burgers, and they charged extra for 100 forints on Wolt if you decide to order a halal chicken
As
burger.
of this year,
As of
2024.
this year, 2024. This is 2024. We don't know what will happen in the future.
Yeah.
But like, if you're listening in 2024, their burgers are really, really good. Like, I would. I've tried it.
And so many people, if they're crazy enough, they bring some stuff from back home, like frozen foods that their parents cook for them, or even frozen meat sometimes, snacks, whatever that they can't find over here. So this is also applicable.
I know
People do that.
There's a girl from UAE who her mother cans food for her and puts it in her suitcase, and she brings it here and has like the canned food.
Yeah, like I've seen so many people who do that.
A lot of people do that,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
There's like, it's not taboo. Like, it's fine. Everyone does it. Like, in a way.
No, yeah, everyone does do it,
Especially
but you
if
have to be
you
careful,
never
no?
seen
Like,
it.
don't they catch you in the airport?
Yeah, I actually heard the story of this person who got caught, and they didn't really like take the food or anything. Like,
They looked at it, they were like,
Really?
yeah,
okay.
because I feel like when they're like opening the bags or checking, they mainly check for the dollars or like the money that you have.
Right.
And like, they don't really care about the food. I don't think so. Or you could always tell them, oh, like, I really need this food, or I follow like a special diet, I'm lactose intolerant.
Or I
These
guess
are,
if you just justify that it's for
Yeah.
personal use and you're not gonna be selling that
Exactly.
But
somewhere.
did they ask your friend?
I
Did
don't know
they?
about that. All I know is that she got checked and they passed her.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Okay, so it's not like super illegal.
Yeah, like it's not illegal.
Yeah, and I actually didn't know this, but I thought that you can't bring frozen food from Pakistan because there's a long layover, it's a long flight. But one of my friends did it. The madman that she is, she put like I think kebabs in plastic bags and put it in an insulating bag, and then she put ice packs inside the insulating bag so it stayed
Smart.
cool. And then she brought kebabs too. Yeah, so like
Smart.
shout out. That was so smart. I didn't know that it was gonna work, but it worked.
Yeah.
One of the things that really surprised me when I started making Muslim friends in university is like I didn't make a whole lot of friends with people that like were from Pakistan. I made friends with people from other countries, and the way that different people interact with Islam and their cultures was just so fascinating to witness firsthand. Like, I'm sorry guys, I say Eid instead of Eid.
It's Eid.
I say Ramzan instead of Ramadan. And then I'm like the only person, I'm like saying Ramzan and you guys are saying Ramadan, and I'm like,
Yeah, and she's always like iftari, sahri, and I'm like, it's iftar and suhoor.
Sometimes you guys are like fatur or something like
Iftar.
Yeah, basically. And the word like fast was something also that I like really registered after coming here. Like I've been saying rosa my whole life.
What? You call it Rosa?
In Urdu.
It's so in Arabic, yeah.
And so every time, like I said rosa to you like 15 times,
like,
right?
Like one of the culture shocks me is that prayer is namaz. I didn't know that.
Prayer is namaz,
I
yeah.
really didn't know.
I didn't know you guys just call it salah. Like we, of course, we also like sort of call it salah, but not really. Like we say like namaz, like time for namaz. And the prayer mat is called a janamaz.
A what?
A janamaz.
No, slow.
Janamaz.
Janamaz.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Namaz is prayer.
Janamaz is like the prayer mat.
Yeah. Also, one of the craziest things ever is that you know how to write and read in Arabic.
But I don't know. I don't understand Arabic.
It's always fascinating.
But it's also okay. It's also because I'm sorry to my Quran teacher. My Quran teacher was not like the best. I'm sure that my sister I'm pretty sure my sister or my brother can like definitely like understand Arabic. Because their Quran teacher like was a bit more. But my Quran teacher would just make me recite and read, and so I would read the Quran. I would recite the Quran. I have like memorized all these duas and stuff. I don't know like the verbatim meaning of. You guys know the verbatim meaning of like, because it is old Arabic, isn't it?
I mean, we don't necessarily understand every single word, but we can get an idea, we can get the context, or if we don't, we go to the translation, the tafsir, basically.
Personally, there are some words that are some words and even sentences that are very, very difficult for me to understand. So what I resort to is actually English translated Quran. And
no, I've definitely done that before.
And it really helps me personally as well.
My mother also has an Urdu translated Quran, but it's also like partially the reason I can like read Arabic and understand, like not understand, but like read the word accurately is because Arabic and Urdu have the same script.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you start understanding Arabic soon because you're surrounded by so many Arabs.
Okay, but to be fair, I've been friends with so many of you guys for the last 2 years. If it hasn't happened yet, probably going to take a while. But yeah, definitely like one of our friends was like, I think I'll leave this uni having learned Arabic, not Hungarian.
I swear, I feel like me coming to Hungary, my English has slightly been going downhill, but my Arabic has been improving. Like, I remember back in the day, I wouldn't even dare touching an Arabic book and trying or attempting to read any book in Arabic. But now, I can read poetry in Arabic. I can read, I would look for the translated version of an English book just because I think I can understand it better in Arabic, which, I mean, I'm happy about, but I don't think it should, I don't want it to affect other languages.
Yeah.
Also Hungarian.
So, okay, our next section. Let's go. That's the perfect segue into our next segment, which is like one of the things that I've noticed about Sara in our friendship is that you pick up languages really quickly. It's fascinating. You're like always like you like hear people say things in like Russian and then you're saying those things in Russian. And I've noticed that your Hungarian has been really good over the years and it's like improved consistently. How did you so first thing, what motivated you to learn Hungarian properly? Because not a lot of people do. And do you think that it is important?
I mean, it's definitely important at some point of your stay during Hungary because you will have to be communicating with patients and you will have to, try to understand what they're saying and so on. But what got me into learning Hungarian, we study Hungarian in uni. They teach us ever since first year. But don't you think it would be a shame if we spent 6 years of our lives here and not be able to speak Hungarian, a proper Hungarian.
But a lot of people do that. Like a lot of people, there's a lot of people who end up super fluent in Hungarian by 6 years.
Yeah, and they end up staying for residency or,
And then there's a lot of people who like go through all these 6 years without ever learning a proper like Hungarian sentence.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to be extremely fluent in the language, but you should have enough knowledge or enough, vocabulary and enough grammar to be able to communicate with patients at least. In the street when you're buying anything, speaking with people, asking for directions. And Hungarians really, really like it when they see international students trying to speak in Hungarian they really appreciate it,
Yeah,
and they're
they
more
do.
helpful. Like if you're looking for something or you're trying to find something, they will be more helpful.
And it's a great way to get immersed in like the local culture, because there's a lot of things that
Definitely.
you'll miss if you don't speak Hungarian. Like you'll miss out on like one or two like subtext things. You'll miss out on like understanding somebody properly. You miss out on like building like a good rapport with a teacher or a professor that you're like following. Like there's a lot of value to be had, although obviously like it's not necessary, but I feel like there is value.
Definitely.
Right?
And a lot of these elective Hungarian classes were very helpful, especially the tandem class, where basically there's a group of Hungarian students and international students, and you're put together. So you're trying to help them better their English, and they're trying to help you better your Hungarian. And it's a really, really fun class. And you get to learn the next level. It's the next level of Hungarian, the slang Hungarian.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. You go out in the street, you're like, "Chua," and like you say
One of my
these random
favorite
words.
things is like my neighbors got into an argument, and the way that they got into an argument is that they were posting like posters of Hungarian like on the notice board in our
Oh my god.
building, and I learned so many bad words. Yeah, that was great. But is there anything you do specifically, like other than, do you do like Duolingo or something? No, right?
No, not really. I just practice.
You
Just practice with people. I know certain people who were able to speak very, very fluent Hungarian ever since first year. He was someone in our group, and he basically used textbooks, like proper textbooks, to learn Hungarian. If you have enough motivation, why not?
Yeah,
you would be a step ahead. If you're planning to stay here maybe after graduation, that will be also nice. It will be a nice thing to put on your CV, definitely.
Yeah.
I also saw this one person learning Hungarian with cartoons, like watching Hungarian cartoons.
Oh yeah.
We had there was an elective that I was taking, Hungarian elective as well, and there was a guy that spoke also fluent Hungarian. He was watching a lot of the movies, and he would like watch one movie for like 6 times, 7 times until he knew the exact script that the characters were saying, but he could catch the words.
Yeah, and
so it became more familiar. Like became more familiarized to the language.
What I really liked about that was that he like would watch movies that were specifically Hungarian and made Hungarian, you know, and like weren't like English translated into Hungarian. And the same thing, like when I'm buying like Hungarian books that I want to like learn how to like read or learn how to understand, I'm always looking for like something written by a Hungarian author, because that means that it was intended to be read this way. You know what I mean? And like it helps because you're broadening your mind a bit. Like you're learning something from like the source as opposed to like an English translation of things. Yeah. Cool.
Hungarian is actually the 7th most difficult language in the world.
Oh my god, really?
Yes. Why do you guys think it's so difficult to learn it?
It's unique. It's like it doesn't have any roots in any other languages.
Yeah. The letters themselves, the way you pronounce the letters, the grammar, the fact that the word order is flexible. So
and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes it's compulsory to use a specific order
in a sentence. Yeah. But then otherwise you can say like Eșerniu akarok.
But the biggest problem is the grammar.
The
grammar is intense.
Oh yeah, very true.
Very, very intense.
And it's very different from our like first languages, and it's very different from English as well, like the language that we all like learn to.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you try to learn like French or German, there's the Latin origin. It's similar to English. So many, like I've learned French before for a high school exam, and I was very fluent, and it was quite easy. It was relatively easier because I had a lot of the words that were very similar to English. So is the grammar, but with Hungarian, it's unique, like you said. So it makes it a bit challenging. But obviously, being able to speak a little bit is an added value.
It's also like a very, very descriptive language. I remember like our teacher was saying that. Like for example, when you say thank you, and you want to say you're welcome, you say Szívesen, which means Szív is like from the heart, and a Shen is like from my heart to you. Yeah. And I think that's really, really cute.
And also like there's an element of subtext like formality that I think a lot of people don't pick up on immediately. Like you ever notice that whenever a Hungarian person will walk into the room, especially in a clinical scenario, like when we're working with the doctors and the nurses, they'll always say "Sziasztok." They'll always say hello to everybody, which is not a habit that we have. And sometimes we get weird looks and we don't know why. It's because we didn't say siyastak when we entered.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
remember like in the cardiology practice when when a student said siya to the patient, he was an elderly patient.
Also, you're not supposed to say siya to your patient, just
It's
FYI.
not formal.
It's very informal.
Because our teacher was like, "This is so disrespectful. You can't say siya to the patient."
And you know what's so funny? After she like scolded us for that, I went up to the patient and my immediate instinct was to say siya, and then he started laughing. I was like, oh no. But not.
Yeah, that's something else to keep in mind. So when you're like speaking to the patients, you have to use the formal Hungarian so that you're respectful.
Yeah, and learn like a line or two because it's more respectful if you tell the patient what are you planning to do.
Yeah.
And it looks more professional.
And who are you? Who are you as well?
Like I'm a fourth year medical student and I'm planning on like, percussing your chest or something. Like it's definitely, you should definitely say those things because I think in that position you would also want someone to tell you like what you're going to do if they speak a foreign language. Also, I noticed that when I say siya to like cashiers and stuff, it's like good, like accepted, right?
Yeah.
But I like when I say siya to my neighbors, or when I in the past have said siya to my neighbors, they were not like respond very
That's
like.
why I stay
happily.
safe and say
Now I say yonapot because I'm like to be
Yonapot.
safe because that's the more formal thing that you're supposed to say, really. Yeah.
And one thing I also learned from living here, I don't think we really have that common back in our country, is that telling people have a nice day. We don't usually say that, like I don't think we use that quite often.
I think we use it. We say like ma salama, which means bye with peace.
We just say
like
bye.
until I see you next time.
Yeah, it's a way of saying bye, but you don't wish them have a nice day or enjoy the rest of your evening. That's something I've noticed here.
Yeah, they say safe-ish states, safe
again.
And it feels like sincere every time. Like
exactly, yeah, that's something I've picked up from here.
Actually, every time like a cashier or somebody says safe nafa, I feel so happy. Like it's just like it's such a positive thing to say.
Exactly.
Cute.
Also, when I say yunapop, the cashier, especially in cope. This is like something I think Sarah would love to say, but like in when I say Unapot to the old lady in the cashier that works in Coop, she gets so happy and smiley.
Yeah,
she's like safe napot, and it just fills my heart.
Yeah, because they take like the greetings very seriously. Lucky.
Also, like there was this one time where I wanted the hot chocolate croissant, and they were like making a fresh batch, and I didn't want the already made batch. So I went up to the lady that was like cooking it in Coop, and I asked her in Hungarian for like the furo one, and like she was so happy, and she got me from the oven like a very hot fresh croissant. I was like in love.
For context, furo means hot.
Furo is hot. Yes. Do you want to say Coop? It's your favorite story.
You want to say that on your podcast?
What's the Coop story? What's
my god. Okay. So basically, there was a time in one of our Hungarian classes when we were learning medical Hungarian, so the medical words. And I don't know what brought it up, but we were talking about the supermarket chain Coop.
Yeah.
But we usually pronounce it Coop, but then our teacher heard us and she's like, "You did not just say that." And I'm like, "What did we just say? We were just talking about the supermarket." And then she later on told us that Coop means suppository. That's why you shouldn't scream Coop out loud in the street. Just say Coop.
Also, fun fact, they don't actually call it Coop or Co-op or however you choose to pronounce it. Like they don't call it that. They call it Abice.
True. It's Coop, Abice, and then there are different branches. So.
Yeah. Crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow. Oh no. The perils of speaking, like learning a different language or speaking a different language is like accidentally saying a bad word.
By the way, guys, it's Eid, so Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
And it won't be an Eid special without talking about Eid in Debrecen and Eid back home and the differences between them.
So Sara first.
Well, in Debrecen we have the Eid prayer, and it's held every year in the basketball court. It's a very big gathering. You get to see lots of people and take lots of pictures, and it's a really, really nice and fun event to go to. And you also get to see lots of families. So it was quite surprising to me that it's not just students that are there, but there are lots of families that attend.
Yeah, there's a lot of Muslims in Debrecen.
Yeah. And one unspoken tradition that we have as group 9, subgroup 9, is that we go and we get boba on the first day of Eid.
And brunch if we have time.
Yeah, if our timetable allows for that.
Yeah. What do you do specifically yourself? Like, is there something you eat or?
Yeah, I mean, one tradition that I've kept from back home is the Eid kahk and the biscuits, the petit four. There's so many. It's an endless list. I can't have an Eid without it. What else? Usually back home there's like the family gathering and so on. But since we don't have that here, we try to meet up with our friends and try to fill up the gap with that.
Personally, what I do is on the night of Eid, I call up all the family members I have and like I chat with them, tell them Eid Mubarak.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same vibes.
And Haneen, we're forgetting the most important part.
The
idea. Yeah, so that's something I've also not given up on. I always ask for a bank transfer. I'm like, where's my idea? It's basically like money we get from our parents, from our grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone that you can get money from. Yeah, and we usually spend it on food. So once we go out, we spend it on food.
Slowly, we're coming to the age where we're going to be the ones giving.
I mean, I've already started giving, like my younger sisters, but I still take more.
It's cute.
Yeah, and I always try to make sure that I see everybody, all my friends within like these 2 days. Like I try to see like all of my friends and meet them and greet them, even if they're not Muslim, just to get the vibe. Because in Lahore, on Eid's day, my parents would like drive me around the whole city, visiting every single person in our family. And then on the second day, every single person in our family would visit us.
It's all about the family.
Yeah, it is.
Coming together.
It is.
Also, you mentioned the Eid prayer in Debrecen. Like, like the walk to the Eid prayer.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a lot of people are just like wearing their clothes and like, not the clothes, but like abayas, jilbabs, kanduras, and they're just walking in masses towards Augusta to pray.
I remember last year when we were going, like you said, we were walking in masses and we were crossing. And there were cars waiting for us to cross, and they were shocked at the number of people. I remember
seeing this man with an open mouth. I was like, "What kind of like dystopia I have been put in?"
Yeah, so it's really nice.
One time I had an exam on Eid, the first day of Eid, and I got up early to go like sit in university and review of it. It was like 6:37 or something, and I was on the bus. And everybody on the bus was like dressed in their traditional clothes, like going to Eid prayer, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm going to an exam."
Yeah, I think you can also see today a lot of people are like wearing like clothes and putting makeup on and taking pictures, and it's so cute.
When I came to university today, I was surprised to see like all the Pakistani boys in their traditional clothing, all these like girls like slightly dressed up a little bit,
and people telling each other Eid Mubarak. You would hear lots of Eid Mubarak
in the air.
Cute. It's a cute vibe. It's like not totally.
You don't feel like an outsider. Like there are so many Muslims here, so
Debrecen is heavily populated by Muslim students.
It's an adjustment, of course. It's not the same as Eid at home, but it's not like nothing, It's like something,
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Sara, for being our guest.
My pleasure.
There's a couple of questions that we're going to ask you that we always ask everyone, which is the first one is like, what do you wish you had known before coming here?
Very, very good question. Well, definitely, I wish I knew a lot more than I did when I first came here. But perhaps things about how the uni works, the system, Neptune was quite hard to navigate through the very first time, registering for exams and whatnot. How things work in the country in general, where to get your stuff from. As I mentioned, I didn't really have anyone here in Debrecen before, so I kind of had to learn everything on my own, which isn't a bad thing because I think as many advices you can get from people, you still have your own journey. Basically, yeah, you will still have to learn. You still have to make mistakes and so on. But in general, I wish there was someone that could, introduce me a lot better to the city itself and how the system works in the uni. I think that would have been more helpful.
Okay, and what would you like us to talk about in the future?
Well, maybe you guys I mean, you've been interviewing lots of people and getting their perspective on things. I'm pretty sure your viewers and listeners would like to know your perspective of things. So maybe you guys could interview each other and, I don't know, not a specific topic, but whatever topic you would like to discuss and get your perspective on it.
Mhm.
I think that would be a really nice idea.
Yeah, that's a
That's
spoiler
cute,
right there.
actually. That's a cute idea. Yeah, we've definitely been cooking something up about that.
Actually.
All right.
Thank you so much, Sara, for joining us for our Eid special. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure likewise. And I hope this episode will be useful for prospective students and also students who are currently here. Maybe add on some new information.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you are tuning in for the first time, if you're tuning in for the fourth or fifth time, you can find us on Instagram at demystifyingdebpod. And we are also
on YouTube and Spotify. And please and Apple Podcasts. How did I forget? Anyways, you can listen on these platforms and please guys subscribe, follow,
share. We would love to get more of a reach within prospective and current students.
And if you have anything to say or any topics that you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to DM us, or you can reply to our polls. We'll be posting a few polls.
Yeah. Thank you.